Hi there. This is Mary Agnes Antonopoulos, and today is Wednesday, August 6th. This is class number 2 of a social media overview course. And today we're going to start with YouTube because YouTube is really the trunk of our marketing tree. I like to explain this marketing tree from a content standpoint. And what that means is our content starts with YouTube if possible. If you're not a total, freak overwhelmed with worry about being on camera. And even if you are, then you can do video like this where you just voice over to screen images, sort of like webinars do. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to switch to my channel on YouTube. And this is how tonight's course is going to go. I'm going to give you a snapshot of what the YouTube channel should look like and the functionality it should have. And then I'm going to go through 3 or 4 really important things to know, some of which I covered last night, but we're going to show them to you in a little bit more detail. And then I'm going to talk about, how do we use YouTube for marketing purposes as the trunk of that tree. So here we go. The first thing is we're just going to have a little bit of a tour. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to make the screen as big as I can so you can all see it. So this is my channel. And this is what I want all of you to have for your channel. The very first thing, and if you've got a YouTube channel, if you hover over your graphic images, you'll see there's sort of a crayon. And that's how you can edit what's in this banner. And what's in this banner, what you should all have, is obviously a headshot. That's your profile picture. And if you click there, it's going to tell you it has to change it on Google+. A lot of your Google accounts link to one another. So that's just an important thing to know. That's why you want a pretty headshot on everything, because in Google's world, it all starts to marry up. I use one of their banner photos here because I could care less, but you can go to Fiverr.com. I'm going to show you. And you can get a banner image made for your YouTube for $5. So just go to Fiverr.com and search banner YouTube. And there you go. Look at that. Banners. And this is pretty good. You can choose any of these. You'll get YouTube banners. I will design your banner, free banners, design a web banner. $5. Everything you ever need could be done right on Fiverr for $5. That's a great place to keep in mind for other purposes too. But for this one, you can get your banner for YouTube made with your logo and probably a great quote that you have of you, preferably, or the page from your book, a snapshot of your next project. You can do anything you want for $5 when it comes to banners. Underneath that in the far right, you'll see this is my website. It's the little icon leads to my website. If I click it, it'll take us over to my website. Ta-da! I'm going to go back again. And then on the right here, you'll see are my social buttons. And some of you may have more than that. And I'm going to show you right now how you change those images and you add your social buttons. So I'm going to hover over that banner image, and in the far right corner, there's a little crayon. I'm going to click Edit Links. And this is what happens. You kind of get this, wow, it looks like, I don't know what, it just looks like this big gobbledygook. But if you look closely, what you've got is email for business inquiries. Please make sure you fill out all of this. Overlays, first link on channel art. Now, an overlay means it shows up on top of the image. So we could take it off, but I want it to show up. Mary Agnes website, and there's my website link. I could add more. I could add another website. I could add a product I'm doing. I could add a blog that I write. But I don't need that. For me, I just need my website. For you, please add your Amazon book page. Let's just pretend I'm one of you for a minute. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm going to find, well, let's use JJ Virgin. I'm going to find her book. I know I'm going fast, but this is pretty simple stuff, right? I'm just going to grab the link. I'm going to go back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to say add. I'm going to say bestseller. And then there it is. Okay? I'm going to say done because I want to show you what that looks like. So stay with me. I'm going to go back to my YouTube channel. Where's my channel? Here we go. Oh, it didn't show up. What did I do wrong? Well, you'll find this. I'm not even embarrassed when things go wrong because things are going to go wrong for you all the time. Edit links. Maybe it didn't like a YouTube link. Well, I don't need that there anyway, to be honest. But I want you to make sure that your books are there, your best products are there. Make sure you put your things in. Over here, what we've got are my social links. These are the social URLs. So I've got Google Plus, all that is a check, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can add other ones, and if you click add, there's a drop down. So it's kind of this is the stuff you don't know until you take a class, so you spend 5 or 6 hours just playing around here. But it'll give you all the spaces you can put on there. So if you've got a Tumblr account or a Blogger account where your blog is, if you've got a WordPress account, this is where all this stuff goes, okay? So just make sure that you've really looked around. Your iTunes account for your podcast, that's for Susan and Holt. Susan Mead definitely is going to have a great podcast. I hope Fran's husband does that also. It's great for her brand. So just make sure you choose the one you want, and then you can put your Pinterest link up there or your iTunes link up there. So I could put, let me see. I don't really need any of those, so I'm actually going to trash that. But I could put my Blog Talk Radio link. So I could say podcast channel, and then I think it's Rockaway Writer. No, I think it's Viral Integrity. Sorry about that. And then there it is. Then I'm going to say, I'm going to tell it to save it. So you have to go and find done. Okay. So look, there's my podcast channel. So now there's also a channel description here. Make sure that you have a description of what your YouTube channel takeaway is. So I just keep a little bio there, but for you guys, I want you to actually have bullet pointed takeaways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is what you're going to learn on this channel. That is a really important thing. This is not the place where you want to be overlooked, right? And that's basically what we see. I'm going to go back to my channel now. And this is basically what we see on the channel. I've got my banner, my profile, my website, my social links, and then underneath, I've got a welcome video. You don't have to have a welcome video, but I strongly suggest you do. One that welcomes people to your channel, and it links people over to whatever you're doing next. So this is going to link, my videos link everywhere. So just an overview of the channel. Make sure you have all of those recipe pieces in place on your channel. The next thing is, let's click videos. So right under here, I'm going to click videos. Now, these are all of my videos. Now, everybody doesn't see all these. These are mine. I see them all because I'm logged in as me. But let's go to the end where I showed you my videos the other day. Sorry, I've got tons and tons and tons of videos. But here we go. I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to open one of these up to show you. Now, YouTube tip of the day. And it's got my name in it, right? That's one of the important things we talked about yesterday. So for those of you who didn't see that overview of 5 or 6 social spaces, the thing I want you to know is that your title has to have your name in it. So just to recap quickly, your title, if it doesn't have your name in it, the video isn't really searchable by your name. So if I were to type in Mary Agnes Antonopoulos, only videos with my name are really going to come up. The next thing is you've got to have all of that in your description also. So that's what we're looking at here. Make sure your name is in your description. The next thing is make sure that the privacy is set correctly. Public is public, private is private, but unlisted means people can find it if they have the link. So just know what those things are. That's a really important thing to have. So let's skip over, and I'm going to go to my video manager. So I'm going to go to this top left, and I'm going to open up my channel. And here on the top, I'm going to open Video Manager. So YouTube changes weekly, just like Facebook. It changes all the time. So if you can't find your Video Manager anymore, that is where it's hiding. So let me just jump over and see if any of you guys have questions on this piece. Remember to write in your questions for me if you have them into the chat. Okay, send questions here. There we go. So sticking with YouTube for a quick second, make sure that your descriptions all have, I'm going to go to the very last few, and you want to make sure that your descriptions all have your name in them, right? We talked about that. We want to make sure that if you go to edit your videos, I'm just going to stop all this. If you go to edit your videos, you put in a secret word. So let's go back. I'm going to edit the actual video itself. So here we are. This is a good one because it was a promotional video for somebody else. So it doesn't have my name in it. But if I want that person to know that I did it, I want to make sure my name is in it so that they see that. So Mary Agnes Antonopoulos. And then put your name in the description as well. And then way at the bottom, secret sauce for YouTube is put in your name without any spaces. Put it in every single video that you do. Why? Because when you get to the end of your video, YouTube suggests videos, right? And we don't want them to suggest things that aren't good for you. So make those changes, save your videos, and I'm going to go and show you somebody else because this is a really good example. So if I go to Master Shah's videos, because my team did this for him, we're going to open up any of his wonderful videos, and what we're going to see at the very, very end is YouTube makes suggestions. And what'll happen if somebody watches your entire video is they're going to click on the next video. So let's tell it to do it. There we are. For Master Shah, the only videos that come up are his. So it's a 100% success. Does that happen with mine? Not too bad. Let's go back to my channel and I'll show you. So I'm going to open this up again. And if you, again, I'm doing this so you guys see it. You're going to click my channel and you're going to go to Video Manager. And that's how you get back to your videos. So I'm going to open up any video of mine. And I like to go to the end because that's where the training videos are. I'm going to click on the title and that'll open it up. And let's go to the end and see what the suggestions are. Not bad. They're not all me, but most of them are. And that's because we put that secret word at the end. And then what happens is YouTube sees it and it starts to recognize that only those videos seem to relate to each other. Remember, the end game for YouTube is to keep you on YouTube. That's why it's sort of so addictive. But it's also really distracting. So if you don't get it right, all these videos on the side are not you. And people get distracted and they go to some other social media expert. So be sure that you've got your name in a secret coded way or something else that pertains to you. You just need it to be unique to you. That's why I say just put your entire name without spaces. The next thing is let's talk about this, 2-minute tip. That's a really important thing. So I'm going to switch over and I'm going to open up a PowerPoint to show you guys because this is probably a better way to do this. So the thing about YouTube is your videos need to be in a certain format to really be useful to your audience. So let's talk about what that looks like. I talked to you yesterday about algorithms, so let's just stay there for 1 second. The algorithm is the puzzle that any space uses to give you the next appropriate thing. So search engine optimization, when you type in a search, there's no like old lady giving you the things that would magically work in your search and help you. It's actually a puzzle. So if you don't put in the right words, they don't ever find you. And it's really now about social grid. So you want to be doing great content, filled out the right way, and then shared on your social grid. Otherwise, it doesn't ever show up anywhere. So let's go and talk about how to do that with YouTube. So video, specifically in this case, YouTube, you're going to see a lot of people talk about other kinds of video, but the truth is I don't want you to do it anywhere else. Unless you're selling a course and then you can do it on Vimeo or Vidler or a lot of other opportunities. But for SEO purposes and to really make your online presence work, I think it's YouTube. I think that's the best thing to do. The reason is, do we all know who owns YouTube, right? Google owns YouTube. So definitely keep that in mind. I mean, the #1 search engine in the world is YouTube and then Google. YouTube is searched more now than Google. So just make sure that you're optimizing those two spaces first. If somebody searches Google for me, the first things that come up are my videos. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. The next thing is you're your best ambassador. So just remember that you can only be in one place at one time, but your videos can be everywhere. I really want you guys to have, you know what, let's put it into the slideshow. It might be a little easier to see on the recording. There we go. So you can only be in one place at one time, which is great. When you meet people in person, you're probably dynamic and smart and articulate, and they'll want to work with you. But what do you do? I mean, the truth is you can't be everywhere at once, and YouTube becomes a really great ambassador. It's absolutely, I've got critical data somewhere that'll support it. You know, the brain registers television and movies as something that actually happened to it. It doesn't necessarily differentiate from what it saw in a movie to what it experienced in real life. So greeting people warmly on YouTube and providing your content there is really, really important, because the brain registers that they actually met you. So intimacy, right? Intimacy is really important. So the YouTube things that we just talked about, setting up a complete profile. The next thing is keep your videos short. I'll show you the 2-minute tip of the day in a couple of seconds, but if your videos are too long, people just click away. If you've got some swirly, beautiful intro, like if it's longer than 6 seconds, even the NFL has shown that at the 7th second, everyone clicked away. So you want to keep those little intro things short. You can go to, there are a few places to get them that I'll share with you at the end of this training, but one thing that I like is videohive.net. So that's videohive.net. And for $25, they'll make you those customized intros. Just make sure that you tell them no longer than 5 seconds maximum. So I want your logo to swirl in, your name, whatever, but just really, really short, because you've only got 2 or 3 minutes to make your point. At the 3rd minute, forget it. Nobody's listening to you. I'm surprised you're all still here. Okay. If you've worked really hard at having a blog in the past, you can use that as your script going forward. So go grab all the old blogs you've written that you've worked really hard at and just use them as scripts for your YouTube videos or for your podcasts. Keep that in mind for both forms of content creation. In every single video, ask viewers to subscribe. That's another thing. You can get an outro, which is the end of your video piece, from VideoHive also. And they can do a really, really nice job. They can have all of your social buttons come in, but the most important thing is a big button that says subscribe, because subscribers get an update every time you load a video to YouTube. So remember, right? We talked about this. Your name goes in your tags, in your title, it goes in your description, it goes everywhere, because first of all, people who know you are going to look for you that way. But the second reason is that it's indexable. So here's the beautiful thing that happened in the last year. Google and all their brilliant people wrote a program that'll actually index off what you say in a video. So if you keep repeating the same things over and over and reinforcing them, it actually gets indexed by Google. So I used to tell people to load your script or transcript into the back end, and you should still do it. It's a definite win for closed caption. But the other thing is, just know that it's being indexed all by itself. So don't say things about competitors. Don't talk about things you don't want people to return to, because it's being indexed from your video by Google. So we always, always, always remember who owns the platforms. Keep an eye on things that Google buys. Anything Google buys, I want you guys on. So these are the things to do to build an audience. I'm just going to go through them quickly, and when we do Q&A later this week, we can come back and go over what works for you. But there's a place in the back end of YouTube where you can tell it to auto share your content. Just go into your settings and click sharing. And then you'll just check or uncheck boxes wherever you want it to auto share. Just remember, the only thing that's really going to be shared automatically on Facebook and Twitter is like the first 2 words of the video title and the link. So it's fine. It's a good thing to do, but then make sure you go back later and put up a post that has a really, really good intro about what's in the video and what the takeaways are. Click the share button to send to LinkedIn groups. So I'm going to actually stop for a second. I'm going to go show you guys what that looks like. Oh, I think one of you has a question. Hold on a second. If you send smiley faces, I actually stop because I think there's a question, but thank you. Okay, I'm gonna open up one of the videos. Why is this one that doesn't look so awful? Okay, and now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop it, and we're gonna click share. So underneath every single video on YouTube ever, there's all these buttons. There's about, then there's share, and then there's add to. So if we go to the share button, there's the link that you share if you're going to post it to Facebook or your blog or whatever. But if you click the LinkedIn button, it'll actually open up a little widget in LinkedIn. And this is worth the price of admission. This is my favorite thing. So I can share an update and that'll go literally out on my LinkedIn profile. Perfect, why not? Click share. Let's go back and do it again, or click link with others. Here we go. If I click groups, here we are. Now I've got this little template that says groups. Just start typing the letters of the alphabet, and all of the groups that I belong to will get this video. So I can just click through the alphabet and one by one, grab them all, and I can share my video and be useful to them. Put in the title of the video again, and then I put in a link to my website. Sometimes I'll put in a little note like, hope this serves you guys. All right, you ready? What does that do? Well, I'm in 50 groups, so let's go back to LinkedIn for a minute and I'll show you. I'm in 50 groups with an average of 10,000 people in a group. I can reach almost 100,000 people if you do the math. Some groups are bigger, some groups are smaller. But I can get a ton of content out through these groups and really keep my consulting practice high, especially my speaking practice. So that's what I did. I built an entire speaking platform just by doing things like that. So over here on interests, we're not going to jump platforms too much, but I'll just click groups and you'll see the entire list of the groups that I belong to. So, oh, they don't do it that way anymore. Every time I turn around, the platform changes. So let's see if I click 49 groups, will it show us the groups? There we go. So these are the 49 groups that I belong to. So you can see some of them I just sent it out to, right? I just clicked and sent this out to them, 1, 2, 3. So back on YouTube, all you do is click that LinkedIn button. It opens up the portal for you. Share an update's really easy. Check post to groups and start alphabetically. Your groups will come up. I'll put that in the tips that come out after this class because that's one of the most important things that you can do. Let's go back to our PowerPoint for a second. Okay, so we're back here again. And when you go to your blog to put the video out there, make sure that you embed the entire HTML code of the video. I should have showed you that over there. I'm sorry. When you're here on this share button, next to share this video, which is where all the links are, you can click embed, and that's the entire embed code to put in your blog. If you have a WordPress blog, that is probably the only way that you can do it. So this will embed the video into your blog. And that's one way that you share your content. You can also share the link, but it's much more effective if the video is a window in there. So just remember that that's probably the paramount way to do it if you're on WordPress. If you're on Blogger, it's so much easier. Just share the link, go back to share the video. All you do is embed the link on your Blogger and it'll flow through. Why? Why is it easier? Because Google owns Blogger, Google owns YouTube, so their share platforms are pretty seamless. If it's WordPress, of course, that's not Google. That's why you have to click embed and get the actual code. You might want to change the size. This video size is a drop down, so you can make it larger or smaller. You may have to make it really small depending on what your blog looks like on WordPress. So just keep that in mind. Okay, where are we? Okay, here we are. So share with your Gmail contacts. This is going to be taken away soon, so I'm not even going to teach you guys how to do it. But for those of you who know how to do it, you can actually click that button, send an email out to all of your Gmail contacts because, again, Gmail is owned by Google. But I heard a rumor that they're taking it down. So the most important thing, I think, is to Go out and send your YouTube videos out to your friends on social media. So let's talk about that for a couple of quick seconds. You know, when you are out on social media, always allow comments. Allow it on the videos and allow them in the social spaces. You want to use annotations to add links to your video and send them back to your social spaces. Be sure to check your inbox on YouTube. A lot of people don't even know they have one. But here's the thing. Any online space that allows comments and builds friends or followers is a social platform. So don't treat YouTube like just a broadcast space. It's also got a social, what do I want to say, sort of a social culture to it. So if people are commenting on your videos and you take the 2 seconds to go back and thank them, that's a big deal. They'll come back to you because it's relationship building. If they send you a note to your inbox, you want to respond to them. You'll sometimes even get business inquiries in there, and a lot of us don't even know that it exists. So if you go to YouTube, you go to your inbox, it's hidden under your settings, and you'll be really surprised. If you didn't allow comments on your videos, all of your comments are in there waiting for your yes or no, waiting to be approved. So don't lose the opportunity if you're building relationships. It's worth that probably 10 minutes a week to mitigate those inbox comments. Okay. So here's the thing, and I'll actually show you a little formula in a minute, but set a timer. If you're scripting your video, here's what it looks like. One full page of content, single spaced, 11-point font, 1-inch margins is 5 minutes for most people to read. Maybe 4 if you're fast. So don't do that. Bullet point your content instead, but have a stopwatch nearby. If you hit 3 minutes, cut out one of the bullet points. At the third minute, no one's listening. Just make 2 videos instead. So time yourself and practice a few times, especially with video. Man, I'm good at video, and I can stand in my yard and shoot 14, 15, 16 times to get 1 2-minute video right sometimes. If you need to cut out pieces, just do a separate video and call them part 1 and part 2. That'll compel people to go watch the rest of it in part 2. It's not just for SEO, it's also for credibility. So you always want to have your credentials under the end of your description in your video. You want to build audiences, so be quick and useful. 1 or 2 tips is enough, but you're in service to them in your videos. You're not really selling. Have your videos lead back to pages where you're selling, or embed them on sales pages with buy now buttons underneath. I'll show you some really good examples of that at the end of the class. So the 2-minute tip of the day, I'm sorry, I'm going Irish fast here. The 2-minute tip of the day is really branded by being of the day. So you can do a Monday minute, Wednesday wisdom. That keeps people coming back day after day after day. If you do a 2-minute tip of the day series, you can say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to do a 2-minute tip of the day on Twitter. And then for 14 days, give a different tip each day. People start to come back to your channel just to pick those things up, or your Facebook page if that's where you're broadcasting them. And this is what your script should look like. It'll always look the same. If you just do what I say, it'll be really successful. Your name. You start and end with your name because Google's indexing it. Your company name, especially if you've got more than one company, right? Your website. www, your website. Don't end with your website though. I mean, you can if you have a product going. I always end with my phone number because it creates serious intimacy. I've had people dial it just to say, is this really you? Which is bonkers. Why would I give someone else's phone number? But the idea here is actually to create clients' sales reputation. If you're nervous to give out your real phone number, there are a lot of places that'll give you an 800 number. I do not like Google Voice for this. I get mine from Ring Central. That's RingCentral, like Central Station. So ringcentral.com, and I got it before they became a little more expensive. It might be $25 a month now, which seems like a lot, but they have great assets in there, different things you can do to organize it. I find it works really, really well for me. So ringcentral.com, but I actually usually don't give that out. I usually give my cell phone number. I was at a conference not that long ago, and I gave my cell phone from the stage to a group of about 400. And somebody said, wow, aren't you nervous? And I was like, no. Do you know how many people have ever used it? 12. Would one of you please be lucky number 13? you know? And so on the way home the next day, and I'm waiting in the airport, and I get a text from somebody who says, "Lucky number 13 checking in." And she wrote me for a solid, I don't know, 6 or 7 months and asked for a different tip every Monday for marketing to help her. And I did it. So that can be sort of your way to create brand ambassadors out of your audience. So when you end with your name, your company, your website, and your phone number. In between those two places is the important stuff, right? Your 2-minute script. Remember to be interesting. Remember, do not be flat affect, right? So sometimes I teach classes like this so much, and I teach them at the end of the day. And if my voice goes flat, it just becomes really monotonous for all of you. So, just make sure that you're thinking about actually not hitting the marks on your material, but actually connecting with your audience. And that'll keep your voice in a conversational tone. Okay. So if any of you actually do this before tomorrow, if you like get your iPhone and make the YouTube video, I give you a prize. If all of you do it, I give you all a prize. So this is to your benefit, right? And the first thing is I'll review the video for you, and I'll give you some feedback individually. But the other thing is I'll do something nice for you. So YouTube contest. If you've got an established brand, this is my favorite thing in the world. You start a YouTube contest. You get all of your fans and customers to submit video testimonials for you. Get them. So this is how we did it. We did this for Author 101, and it just killed. It's a conference I speak at once a year. We got all of the fans of Author 101 to submit testimonials about Author 101. We loaded them to Author 101's YouTube channel. So the magic wasn't the testimonial. That's great, lovely, we have testimonials. But it's that the person who did the video then started sending likes to the video. 100 likes meant that they got to go to the conference for half the price. If they got 500 likes, they got to go as a VIP. If they got 1,000 likes, they won. I don't remember what they won. I guess it was maybe a sit down with Rick Frischman. But this garnished so many likes on Rick's YouTube channel that YouTube ranked him higher. And that was great for his overall brand. But not just that. If I sent 100 of you to go see a video testimonial that I did for, I don't know, let's say my partner Lee Solt, who has an IT company. Now, I'm sending 100 people that I know to see my video of a company I'm recommending. What do you think that does for the company? It's pretty good, right? Because testimonials shared with people we know are very powerful. It's a recommendation, right? It's a personal recommendation. We made sure that the likes had to be given on YouTube. So if you do this contest, this is really important, because the first time I did it for anybody, I did it for AT&T Parrot, which is a rebrander of AT&T in California. And we didn't know. It was the first time I'd ever done it. And they had likes on YouTube, Facebook, there were likes all over the place. Gathering them up and counting to see who had won was almost impossible. So we definitely want to say that the only likes that count are always on the YouTube channel on the link provided. Sometimes now I do exactly this contest through an app called Woobox. So for those of you a little more advanced, write this down. It's woobox.com. And that is a great space to create contests that link back to your Facebook pages. In Woobox, you can actually, I wonder if I'll show you. No, I don't want to get confusing. I'll make that a bonus to the class. I'll show you some of the apps we can use. But in Woobox, all the videos that come in can actually be galleried. They can be galleried so that the votes aren't just the one that I sent for me, right? The votes would be, okay, you vote for mine, and then all other 500 videos pop up. And that's another huge way to build your brand. So let's continue a little bit. Oh, writers, video reviews on your Amazon book pages. They are weighted by Amazon heavier than anything else, including a sale. So for those of you with books in the works, I know Susan Mead's book is coming out very soon. Cheryl Liu's book is coming out very soon. Remember that video reviews on your Amazon book pages are huge. So these are just a few random places I want you to remember to use video as your video experience rolls out. Um, the, as the trunk of that content tree, you can use those videos on your website and blogs. Your Blog Talk Radio page itself has a space for a website. Author Central on Amazon for the writers in this group. AuthorCentral.com is where you put your bio that links back to your books. and you can put 5 videos in there. If you don't have them in there, it's such a lost opportunity to connect with your audience. Google Plus, we put videos on Google Plus all the time. It keeps our clients ranked high on Google. Why? Because who owns Google Plus, right? Anything Google owns, we want to be on. Video responses on YouTube. So if somebody sends you a comment on YouTube, you can actually send them back a video response. That is a huge way to build intimacy. Crowdsource funding sites like Indiegogo. I just did that for my kid this summer to send her to camp. Thank you to those of you who send my kid to camp. She's having a ball. But a video on there, if I had a video of Kat being at camp, wouldn't that mean a lot to everybody who had sent her? So just remember, these videos are really huge opportunities to connect with people. Then there are paid membership spaces like Kajabi, and there's another one that we love that I cannot remember the name of. I'll put it in the notes. But those are spaces where you're going to actually build your paid courses out. So what does that look like? Let me go in and show you one right now. I've got one of our clients has a course in Udemy. I'm sure he'd love us to show you. So these are paid video course sites. And here it is. This was a really simple class that one of my clients developed, and it's got 6 portions. He's going to be live on video on one side, and PowerPoint slides are going to be on the other side. And there it is. So this is Udemy, and Udemy is a really easy space if you teach like I do. And then I like Kajabi a great deal because it's easy and you can load other pieces. Like you could have a podcast, you could have a video, you could have worksheets. That's a really, really good reason to be in that space. So I just wanted to show you some of the paid opportunities for video things that you do. Let me see if any of you guys have any questions. No questions. Does that mean I'm doing a good job or does that mean I'm putting you all to sleep? Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to go back to this space. I'm going to go through 2 more things and I'm going to check in and see if you all have questions one by one. We'll do roll call because I try and keep the classes to 45 minutes so that you don't have to. Could somebody shut up the dog, please? Really grateful you all know me. All right. So look, this, thank you, dearest. This is that tree, remember? So this is that tree. And this, I'm just going to give this speech again for those of you who weren't here yesterday. This is why I get asked to speak at conferences, this one stupid little thing I came up with. So close your eyes. You don't have to look at my naked bare tree here. Close your eyes. And you're in the middle of a field in a forest. And there's grass and dirt and rocks and crap and bugs and all the things that would be in a field, right? And that's all you. It's your life experience. It's the sum of you. And whether you grow a tree or not, it's you. You get to carry that everywhere you are. And it's a mixed bag for everybody. Everybody's got rocks, everybody's got bugs, everybody's got crap, and everybody's got seeds. And what I want all of you to do for your brand is to take one of those seeds and grow a tree. So think about sort of a big old oak tree. And the thing that happens with a big old oak tree is it draws people to it, right? So your blog or your video blog, right? Vlog, they call it VLOG. That's the base of your tree. That's the trunk of your tree. And it's the content stream. So you're not going to be creating social content for 14 hours a week. 4 is probably right. So shoot your blog on video and then send it to rev.com, rev.com, to be transcribed. Then put your video out to your LinkedIn groups. And if you used a PowerPoint, I want you to put it out on SlideShare. You put the video out itself, right? And then you put the transcription out separately a week later. You put your video out as a link in Facebook Notes. So in Facebook Notes, and I'll show you that in the Facebook class, maybe I'll show you quickly if I have a quick second at the end here. You're going to open Facebook. To the bottom right of your banner photo, click the little word more, and there's notes. Write a new note and cut and paste in the script or the blog that goes with your video. They'll put a link to the YouTube video there. newsletter content. You use this video for everything you're going to do that week. Your LinkedIn conversations, your Facebook notes, your Facebook posts, your newsletter. Obviously, it's a YouTube video. You use it for your meetup group material, your blog talk radio podcasts. You can actually strip off the audio and have it be everything. The little leaves are your tweets, and this is what it looks like in the end. So here's the thing about that tree. It's not just that you're creating this big full tree of leaves and fruit and birds and butterflies, right? It's that it draws people to it. So if somebody's hungry and they come to my tree, do you think anybody leaves my tree hungry? And you guys know me, they don't. Nobody leaves my world hungry. I feed everybody who comes to me whatever their questions are, whatever they need. So if I am at a conference, I'll say to people, like, I just want to know two things. I want to know what you do and who's your audience. And then I tell them where they need to be on social media. And that's how I have control over all conversations and turn clients away regularly just because my company's too small. What happens next? Well, if somebody takes an apple from my tree and it's delicious, they say, hey, come over here. This person has really good apples. And that's how you start to build your brand. And then maybe they hang a little swing from my tree and they swing on it and they put up a blanket and they have a picnic underneath with some friends. And maybe they eat an apple and they go and scatter seeds the way living things do. And a whole little forest springs up around your content. So this is a really important image to have in mind because, social media gets a bad rap, like you're going to be lost and spending every waking moment on it. That's not true. Just set a timer on a Sunday afternoon, write your video, get it transcribed by Rev, set up all your content ahead of time to roll out and be announced everywhere, and then set another timer 2 times during the week to respond to people who write and ask you questions or comments. Your social time on social media does not count. That is not your marketing time. So remember that. Understanding the algorithm and how you use your marketing time for social media is what's going to make you successful. If you count all the times you're distracted by somebody else's videos and you're liking and whatever, that's just not marketing time. Marketing needs to be serious. Really successful companies spend 40 to 60% of their time marketing themselves. Maybe most of us aren't there yet. I feel like all I do is work. But if I really wanted to be successful, I would have somebody whose sole purpose in my company was marketing. So that's what I am for you guys. I'm the person whose sole purpose is to market your company. So come back with your questions, implement some of the things we talked about today, shoot one video, send it to me by tomorrow and get a prize. I'll get the video and the notes and the podcast out to you by tomorrow afternoon. I'm just going to go back and see if anybody has questions, and that's it. Okay. Amal, do you have any questions, Amal, before we shut down? She might have herself muted. If your own phone is muted, you will have to unmute to ask questions.
No, I'm fine for now. Thank you so much.
She unmuted and then she muted herself again. Hey, I can see you.
Yeah, I just said, yeah, I'm fine for now. Thank you so much. It was great.
Tommy Roar, how are you? Do you have any questions I can answer before we end today?
I don't think so. I'm just a little overwhelmed.
That's funny, Thomas. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't go anywhere. Cancel. Do not go anywhere. My mic was turned off on my computer. It's not you guys, it's me. I'm sorry. Tommy, did you have a question? I saw the mic beeping that you were speaking.
No, I just said that I'm a little overwhelmed.
I'm sorry.
I don't know enough yet. I picked up good hints. It's like I know enough yet to be able to really, I need to sit down and review and kind of begin to do things. So.
Don't worry. You know what'll really help? The to-do list that goes out with this video that comes out tomorrow. That'll really help you. And the most important thing to do is to start making videos and start practicing because your book is almost out, right?
Right.
All right, brother. The best marketing you can have for your book is videos where you talk about the book and interview other people who walk the walk like we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
I'm sorry, the heavy breathing is the dog. Hey, okay.
I bought a camera. I have a place I'm going to be doing the videos. I'm kind of piecing things together, but
Don't worry. Don't worry. By the time we
a
finish the
lot
class,
is
you'll be
going
good.
on.
Don't worry. By
Okay.
the time we finish the class, you'll have a really good marketing plan around launching the book. When does the book publish? Do you know?
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
It's going to be about 3 to 5 weeks.
All right. Well, that'll get you right through to the end of the class, and you and I will meet once or
Yeah.
twice to figure it out. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Amal, do you have any questions before we wrap up the class?
Uh, it's lots of content we have to absorb in the last. It's the LinkedIn and the Facebook all together. It's the to-do list is a great idea to practice more.
Yeah.
So we can work on that some other time.
All right, darling. I'll get the to-do list out to you guys with the video tomorrow. My partner's on the line. Hey, Lee, do you have any questions?
No, it's quite good. I actually learned quite a bit.
Really? Well, thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to do some of this for your company since most people find IT completely overwhelming. You know what we should do this for, Lee? We should do this where you talk about the green. It's not called a control room. What's it called?
The Green Data Center.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Okay.
All right. Well, one of these days we'll talk about it. So, okay, I had a couple of questions sent in by Susan Holt, but I'm going to wait because I think we're going to do a Q&A late in the week, you guys, like Saturday or Sunday, after everybody has a chance to watch the video, listen to the podcast, and do the to-do list. So I will get this all over to you, and don't forget, next week's class is Wednesday, and it's on advanced Facebook. Don't fall over. I know it's overwhelming, but you have a whole week to do YouTube before we get there. So, just look. Here's the thing. You know what? Let's end with this for you, Tom Rohr. Here's the thing. The thing about anything is, let me see if I can find the slide. I have a slide that talks about this. Here. You cannot do something that you don't implement. You can't succeed at something that you don't even try, right? So there's this thing I teach sometimes about a Martian who plays baseball. And this will be where I stop talking, I promise. But if you were from Mars and you landed on Earth, and you landed in the middle of Wrigley Field or Yankee Stadium, and you saw them playing baseball, you don't even speak the language, you don't look like everyone else, you don't know how to play baseball, right? But if you stood there for a while as a cognizant being, you would grow to understand pretty quickly that the object is to hit the ball with the bat, to pick up that stick and hit that little flying orb. Now, that might take you 10 or 15 tries if you've never done it before, but could you do it? I bet you could. Would you fall as you ran to first base? Would you run the wrong direction? You might, but I bet you'd figure it out. The nice thing to know about this scenario is there's no opposing team, Tom, and all of you. There's no opposing team. Everybody in that stadium is there to support you. It's very unlikely somebody is going to get in your way and want to stop you from marketing whatever you're doing. So it's okay if you feel like a Martian learning to play baseball. Just start swinging the bat. Sooner or later, you're going to be successful, and I'm definitely here to stand behind you and help you swing the bat and hit the ball and hit it out of the park. And remember one last thing. There is no point when you hear the crack of the bat. It doesn't matter if Babe Ruth cracked the bat and hit that ball 3 miles away. He only gets a point when he crosses home plate. So it's people who successfully follow through, hit all the bases, tag all the bags. It's people who successfully continue until they get to home plate that get a point. So that's where I'm going to end tonight. I hope you had a great time at the class, and I look forward to hearing from all of you who watch the recording and answering your questions. Bye-bye.